Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele.
Hi, you guys! Welcome back! I can't believe I took a month off for the first time in my life. It felt so weird, and I'm so happy to be back covering Survivor South Africa and with a new friend, you guys. Welcome, Chantele.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I mean, you guys might be new to me, but I'm not new to you guys. I've been a fan of Nerdtainment at least all of quarantine, where I've been diving into so much podcast stuff. And so I'm a super fan here that's so excited to be talking about Survivor South Africa. This is actually the first time I've been talking fully about a season about Survivor. So this is going to be really fun and interesting. It's like one of the series that got me into reality TV in general. And so I don't know, I can't wait to break it down with you.
This is my new, or this is the first time that I've done South Africa. I've only done US Survivor, which I love, and just have been starved for some Survivor content, you guys. So Chantele, tell us where people can find you and follow you. I do have it all linked below, but please tell us first.
I mean, I'm everywhere. I do a lot of things, wear a lot of hats. But on social media, on Twitter, I'm Shan ___ Fran. On Instagram, I'm at ShanFranFran. I also have my own YouTube channel, Reality Realness with 3 S's. And so I do have Twitter and Instagram with that name as well. So pretty much quick stop. You can find me at ShanFranFran. I have a link that has everything. And if you find me on one thing, you can find me everywhere.
Okay, great. Okay, and then I have to say, but first, you guys, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. If you want to join the Patreon, there's a link below, and a little perk of joining Patreon for Nerdtainment is that I will send you the episodes of Survivor South Africa. If you can't find it online, come on over there and I'll hook you up with that. So, okay. Anyway, but also let's talk about Survivor South Africa. This episode, getting to know a new cast. I'm getting to know a new host.
So you've never seen any of his?
No.
Okay. I've seen another season. I don't know if it was the one right before. And so I've already kind of gotten used to him just a little bit. And I also watched the Australian version of Survivor as well. So I am used to different hosts. And so Nico wasn't brand new to me. But I like that it seems like he's a fan. I watched some preseason stuff, and it looks like he really does take the time. Like, he seems like he's part of the casting process. He knows the people that they're bringing into the show, and he's really excited to see what the dynamic that they're bringing together is going to create. So I'm happy that he's a fan, and I'm happy that you don't know him. That's super fun too.
Oh, yeah. So his name is Nico, and he's very not hard to look at. And yes, all of their accents are adorable and love them. But I loved, like, right at the top there, he said, "Come on in, guys." And I was like, hey, we still say this.
I think it's probably part of there's probably like a book of like Survivor isms that they have to kind of bring in when they use the logo. So that's probably one of them. Come on in, guys.
Come on in. You got to say it. So they all come out at the top of this episode. They're seeing each other for the first time-ish. And we're talking to them individually. And then they do a random draw for the tribes. How do you feel about that?
Okay, random draw is interesting-ish, but I do love the schoolyard pick. I'm currently rewatching Palau from the US version, and like they had to choose who they wanted on their tribe, and like it creates immediate drama. And so I would like to see if any, like, because there's going to be different stereotypes of character with people in South Africa that I would be used to in North America. And so it would just be nice to be like, oh, I'm choosing that person because he appears to be like XYZ, and this person because this and that. So I would have liked to maybe see a little bit of strategy come into play in the beginning, but they're all really interesting characters, so it still played out pretty well.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. That definitely would make some drama happen with a schoolyard pick, but sometimes schoolyard picks make me mad. Oh. And so I was really excited for this random I mean, we're just all starting new and fresh. Random really just throws you in. I don't know. I was kind of vibing with it this time.
I was kind of vibing with it, and how they were kind of talking about like the orange tribes seemed to be a little bit more holistic, a little bit more yoga. They all kind of grouped together. And I was like, I thought that was really interesting, and a dynamic that probably wouldn't have happened if it was a schoolyard pick. And so I'm just wondering, because I kind of, delve into my spirituality type stuff and understand energies. I like yoga. And so I'm wondering if, there's something more that's going on with how those energies kind of group together. So I find that to be quite fascinating.
I did too. Now, you guys, Chantele is into astrology too, so it's probably going to come up
a lot.
We like the woo-woo energy. So here quickly, let's just talk about these two tribes because, one of them turned out to be like all the like by appearance jocks. And
right?
One by appearance turns out to be all the like hippie woo-woo people. So this is our Zamba tribe, which we know this one a little bit better because of the way this episode goes. We got going left to right here. We got Keon. I don't know. Is it flipped for you guys? Keon, Jason. Is that Marisha?
Correct.
I think.
Yes.
Anela.
Is it? Am I wrong?
Oh, Teresa's on the end. Yeah.
Anela. Yes.
Anela. Mm-hmm. Then on the bottom row is Sean. Now I'm going to confuse my blondes. Which one is this?
I think that's Nicole.
That's Nicole, probably. Dino. Then the other blonde is
Amy.
Alex. Amy. Sorry. And then Renier.
Correct.
If I'm pronouncing any of those correctly. Renier is a legend already in my book, but we'll get to that. Okay, Vuna tribe. This one, we hardly know at all. Except we know there are a bunch of vegans and yogis.
And what was really, I thought it was very interesting with the mentioning that the yoga community is really small and that they all kind of know each other or know of each other or know of their history. So none of them can really hide. They have to kind of work together because they already know each other and they would be able to keep some of those secrets together with each other.
Yes, I wasn't sure if the yoga community is so small or if the Instagram yoga community was so small. The way they were talking, they're like, "I follow you. We know you're like."
Well, yeah, I mean that's what happens nowadays, right? People know each other through Instagram.
I believe that's Warda first.
Tyson.
Tyson. Mm-hmm. Santoni is the redhead here in the middle. Is that Pinty?
Pinty? I think it was Pinty.
It was Pinty?
Sure, I'm correct me if I'm wrong.
I know. There's going to be some stumbles here, pronunciation, you guys. Then Paul at the end.
Correct.
Below Warda is Mike, I want to say. I think it's Mike, the lawyer, corporate lawyer, Mike.
We'll give it to Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say Mike. Then our good vegan doctor friend, what was her name? This is great, you guys.
Anesu.
Love.
We're going to know these so well eventually.
We will eventually. Anesu is apparently the most popular person. Everyone wants to work with her.
Which is good, but seeing the way that people are playing this game, I'm curious if it might not be so great for her in the end, because like she seems to be very excited to be super popular. Everybody wants to be in alliance with her. Pretty much she's in 3 of the major alliances on this tribe. I'm just wondering if it might bite her in the butt if people start maybe talking or figuring out that she is so popular.
Right. I don't know this gentleman's name. Oh, that's Kieran. Okay. Kieran and then Carla.
Yes.
And then Chappies.
You have to remember Chappies.
I mean, can't forget Chappies. Okay. I believe it was Chappies' butt we saw, right?
Yes, it was Chappies' butt that we saw. But my question about like Chappie's, he really believes that he is going to win this game. Like he was one of the confessionals that we got in the beginning of the episode about being like, oh, like I am the winner of Survivor South Africa.
Yeah.
I think it's season 8, is it? And I'm just like, great, be confident, go in there confident. I don't know if it's going to work. I just don't know. I don't think so. Okay,
I don't think it is. No, not at all. I didn't get to listen to everyone's pre-season interviews and stuff, but he was one that I did listen to, and it was very cocky. It was very much, I am the winner. I already know. Here we are. So yeah, no, I think he's more of just a character that you cast on a reality show.
Right.
Not sure that he's the winning type, but we'll see. We will leave it open for him to prove us wrong. The first thing we're going to get after they get into their tribes is, and they sort of set this up, Nico sets it up as like a reward challenge, but it's basically running to get your supplies.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've seen similar kind of first challenges like this before. Like sometimes it's like they're on a boat and everything that they can get off the boat and into their little boat in the water is, so there's definitely all these kind of marooning type situations, grab as much as you can in a certain time frame. 2 minutes seems to go like stretch really far because like, if I want to do something in a minute, like a minute's gone and like a snap, like people are running back and forth, bananas, climbing up, grabbing immunity idols, like they're able to do so much in these 2 minutes that I'm wondering if they had to do a couple of takes because I just don't know how they could manage to get all that stuff in 120 seconds.
Interesting. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff, so much stuff that Dino is able to go run up a pole and get himself an immunity necklace, but he's the only one. No one else tries on the other tribe.
And this is the thing that I don't know if it was great for him to do this. Like, I know that they're out there. I know that they want people. Like, you're not going to put these idols in there as producers if you don't want people to try to get them. It's going to create some sort of drama or whatnot. But as a player, if I'm playing to win, I'm definitely staying far away from looking like somebody that is only in it for myself and then I'm looking to get the idol to save myself as opposed to getting food for the tribe. Like, I would be so far away from that idol. So I'm surprised that he was tempted by the idol.
I mean, I'm not surprised he was tempted. I'm surprised he's the only one that was tempted. Except I do agree with you. Like, it's dangerous. First day out, you've not even met these people. You haven't had a conversation with the rest of your tribe, and you're making it very clear that you need this necklace. But you gotta be tempted. You gotta want it, but you just is it worth it?
I don't know if it's worth it. I guess like I'm always playing to win, right? Like so. I mean, if you want to make great TV and if you want to be kind of a dynamic character and maybe be somebody that like is a great person to watch and then maybe they're going to get popularity after, because you make all these bold moves. If that's my intention of going on the show, I'd be then, out there trying to cause as much trouble and like, doing things that wouldn't necessarily be best strategy wise for game. But I love strategy and I want people that want to really win and they're really trying to carve their way to the end and get that title. And so I just thought it was just such an error.
Too much too soon right there at that moment. Maybe for Gino. But
I like him
also,
though. I like him.
I really like him. Oh my gosh. But I don't, he fumbles a couple, 2 times there through this episode. So we don't know how he's going to do. But he's really enjoyable. And they also, Nico tells us, the theme of this season is Immunity Island, which is very similar for those of us who have already watched the US versions. It's kind of like Ghost Island, but also like Island of the Idols. Like it's kind of, there's no Rob and Sandra.
I don't remember which ones. Wait, so Ghost Island was the one with Dominic, right? And then Immunity Island is the one with Chris Underwood?
Island of the Idols.
Oh, sorry, that's what I'm getting confused.
Wait, I'm definitely going to be confused. So I could have this totally wrong. No, you're right about Ghost Island. So I might be wrong. Was that not the island? Island of the Idols with Chris Underwood. No, it's not like... Okay. Anyway, guys, you tell us. Tell us what season it's
we'll
like.
get back to you on that one next week.
I mean, Island, it's not, well, they don't have a Robin Sandra. Like, they don't have a famous person on the island, but you're going to go and you're going to play a game. You're going to do a challenge. You can get a reward, but if you don't win, you're going to lose something. You're going to have a consequence. And we did have an island like that one of these seasons.
Where they had to just pick the shell or whatever. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah, there's been a few similar type scenarios. Personally, like, okay, I love all Survivor, and so please just don't think that I don't love Survivor. I'll always watch it. I will always like be willing to invest my time in Survivor, but I'm also going to be critical to what I usually enjoy about Survivor. And I'm kind of a Puritan here. You know, I like kind of like when it's just bare bones and there's just like random people that just want to go out there and play this game for $1 million strategy. And like, I'm not really into the trinkets and doodads personally. So I don't know if we need to have, you know, Immunity Island or whatever, because I really think that these characters are so interesting already. And all it's really doing is just making people play badly. It's really is what's happening, in my opinion.
I love this dynamic. I'm so excited that you and I are doing this together because I kind of think I'm the opposite. I love it when production messes with these people. Put them on an island, give them so many different things, and you try to strategize around it, but
just get screwed.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, so it could also be because like I've played quite a few like online reality games or like live reality games, and so I've been a person in the game, and then I've also produced my own weekend-long Big Brother games, and so as a producer, I love twists. They're so entertaining. But as a player, they mess up your game so much, and they're so frustrating. So I understand totally why you could find it to be super entertaining. So it depends on if I'm coming as a player or as a producer as to whether or not I'm enjoying screwing around these poor souls.
Poor souls. Agreed. Yes. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we're now gonna head to our
No, you know what? We didn't mention yet. The other blunder I thought was with Renier. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name. He finds a little tribe advantage.
The tribe advantage.
Then Nico calls out, did somebody find this? He keeps that silent. And then finally, when it's like, oh, it'll be advantageous for you to share that you have it now, then he puts his hand up and says that he has it. So he looks shady, and then still, yes, he gets the prize or the advantage for his tribe. But I thought it was really bad as a super fan. Like, he seems like he's very smart with the game. To like, if you're gonna grab it, like, you got to fess up. Anyways.
Especially since it said tribe advantage, because obviously if it's a personal advantage, take it to the grave. Don't you tell anyone. But it's a tribe advantage. So Nico's like, who's got it? Like, you should just be like, oh, I got it. Yes.
For us, yes, for our tribe. Yeah. Like,
yay. I don't know. Did he not read that tribe part and understand, or I don't know, but I love it. I love a shady player. I love that he was like, you're not getting it out of me. Oh, wait, I have to say it? Okay.
I thought it was a miscalculation on his part, especially him being a super fan, that like, you know, he's made a lot of points that he's like, I don't want people to know that I'm a big fan. He does mention at some points Jason. He recognized that Jason's also seems to be quite a knowledgeable player. And so like he doesn't want people to notice that, you know, both of them have understanding of the game of Survivor. So he gets it. So the fact that he didn't get that socially, might look very bad if you withhold that information in such a public sense. It was quite surprising. But entertaining.
Very good. Very good points. Very, very good points. Okay. That's it, though, here at the top, right?
Yes.
Now we are going to head off to our tribes. And there's a lot here. A lot of this episode is the sort of building of the shelter and getting to know each other, starting to see some alliances form. if they're real or not, who knows? And also, keeping your eye on other people.
Yeah, well, Jason seems to be kind of not wanting to take the leadership role. I think he's an engineer of some sort that knows how to maybe build the house, and so he doesn't want to take the role as leader, but he also wants to get the shelter done to hopefully become indispensable to these people, and they need to have him there because they're going to help him, build a shelter. So I thought that kind of dynamic was interesting, especially Renier commenting on noticing where he was trying to put himself in the dynamic of the tribe. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, we see a lot of Jason being like, this is what I do. And then being like, but I don't want to lead. Okay. And they're like, can you please lead? And he's like, oh, okay, I'll do a little bit, but then I don't want to lead. Okay. And they're like, please help us build. And he's like, okay. It was like he was being torn this whole time of like, oh my God, is this going to ruin my game? But I should do it. But is this going to ruin my game? We see a lot of that. But ultimately, I don't think this is what ruined his game.
I think what ruined his game. Well, are we going to get right to there?
Well, we can just
hang
it. We'll dangle it and we'll get back to it.
He took that. That was the best downfall ever, though. I have to say, it was so entertaining. The whole end half of this episode. Yes, with the downfall.
While we're on this tribe, though, this is Zamba, where Jason is building the structure. We see Amy is sort of the one eyeing Sean and Keon. Sean and Keon have become best friends in a matter of seconds, and they're going through rice, and they're shady players.
So shady! What's happening?
They're literally like, let's find an idol. Let's find any advantage. Let's go through every morsel of rice. What can we find? And Amy's just watching the whole thing go down, and if she reveals it to the rest of the group.
Now, I don't mind the thought process to be looking for these idols and knowing that maybe it's going to be hidden somewhere. I think that is definitely smart. I'd rather have it in my hands than it be in someone's hands that I don't know that has any sort of power. So I get that 100%. But pretending like you're doing something that you're not doing when you're blatantly looking for an idol. It's kind of like when people go, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get some firewood, and they're gone for 4 hours and comes back with a stick.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
That's the thing. Obviously, look for this stuff. Yes, please don't be an idiot, but do it well. Please? You just can't be obvious about it on day one. That's tough. That's really, really tough.
So yeah, that's what I was just really surprised I found on a whole for the entire episode with all the players, because they do seem like they're all fans of the show. It's not we sometimes we get the Instagram model plucked into a season and it doesn't seem like that. It seems like the people here applied and they want to be on the show. And so I would assume that they would have a little bit of understanding of what to do and what not to do. And I feel like so many people made so many first episode blunders that I was very surprised but entertained, of course.
Yes, it is entertaining. Anela seems to be the one that at least from my perspective, I really appreciated his alliance building. He really is talking to a lot of people, and he's talking about building a sort of a strong 7. Mm-hmm. And I like this approach. I like his demeanor. He's kind of chill, smart, connecting with a lot of people.
Absolutely. And he was kind of narrating a little bit as to how he was pulling in his top 7. And they didn't seem to talk about him coming across as a leader in any sort of way. So I thought that it appeared that he was doing a good job with gathering in. He got Nicole, Amy, and Marisha. They seemed to be kind of like a trio. Definitely Nicole and Amy seemed to be a pair. And then Marisha. And then Renier and Jason he pulled in. So I'm like, oh, that's smart, getting the 2 people that are kind of, the strategists potentially, and you got the shelter guy, and then himself and Dino. I don't know how Dino kind of fell in there. He's kind of on the periphery, but I like that he was part of this. I'm like, I love this group of 7. I thought it was a great group. Sorry for Sean and Keon to being ostracized there, but at the beginning, people are looking for any reason to make somebody the other or the target. That's just how it goes. You need to fit in with the group.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, let me be in this majority and like put focus on a couple other people.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's great for day one. Okay, other tribe, Vuna. We start to see their dynamics a little bit. We've got Pinty and Chappies making fire, but also aligning a bit. We'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, Chappie's, I can't really take him seriously for whatever
No.
reason. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know what it is. I can't take him seriously, but I am
Yeah.
entertained by him. And I think that he got a little bit humbled. I saw a little bit of his true self. We'll get to it, but when he does the whole fire part, like when he comes back to the tribe, like there was a little bit of humility that came across over him. So I started to like him more. But at this point, I just was kind of like, I just don't even believe that he's a real person right now.
Yeah, no, he is a character for sure. Very interesting. This is where we sort of talked about this earlier, but like this is the tribe that has some sort of outside connections. We see Kieran talk about how he went to school and is aware of Anesu.
Yeah, knows that she's a doctor.
No, she's a doctor. We see Warda and Anesu connect, and they know each other from the yoga community. Warda and Tyson are making separate connections. So this tribe seems to have much more of like the smaller little duos, but like this duo is connected to the next duo. So they're all sort of connected, but it seems more like maybe we're going to have some tighter, 2 and 3 alliances over here.
Yeah, and I definitely am interested to see how things like shake out if they have to go to tribe council, because it does seem like it could just be happenstance because they didn't have to face any adversity here, that like, they are quite kumbaya, we'll say, and like they seem to be really getting along, but it could be because they haven't gone to tribal council yet. So I will be very interested to see how like what was her name? Anesu, what she ends up doing, with her being in all these different groups, and what is she going to side with, and how is she going to maneuver that? Is she going to end up becoming the target because she's in all these groups and they can like all agree on her? So I am very curious about the dynamic, especially since they're kind of suggesting that they're coming from a spiritual perspective, that I want to see when those spiritual gloves come off, who's going to be voted out.
Right. Yeah, Anesu seems like she's set up really nicely, sitting pretty right now. But if you start to realize that one person is being protected by multiple groups, who are you going to target? That person, obviously.
Yep.
It's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. So our first night here, we're going to get rain, and we get to see the difference here. Lovely Zamba under their shelter, which I didn't think it was great. I was like, why is it like that? But at least they're under shelter. Whereas Vuna, not so much.
I mean, I didn't even pay attention to their shelters. Actually, I didn't register them.
That all we saw was, because it starts to rain, and all we see is they crawl. It's like bamboo slats, basically, or just like some sort of roof. But then, like, it's just big enough to lay in. You know what I mean? So they all just like crawled in and laid flat. It was like a sandwich. It was like people
notice this.
And the bread is wood. Like that was it. I was like, this isn't a shelter. You're just not getting
like, how do you roll over?
Yeah, there's barely room to roll over. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm so surprised I didn't notice that, because that would have made me probably laugh. But I must have blinked.
We built? I mean, granted, I've not played Survivor. I don't know, but I've seen better shelters.
Do you think, though, that maybe, like, was it actually just like a foot high? Or do you think that could end up being the base, like the floor eventually, and then they build like a shelter over top, but this is just like temporary, like in the beginning of building a shelter?
I mean, I'm hoping it was temporary something, but no, I think they built just like they were like, let's do a sleeping row and we'll build something else later, is what it looked like to me. I don't know. No, anyone in the chat opinion? Is that just me? I'm the only one. Anyway, the difference was one tribe had, was wet and one was not. So we also sort of see Thariso, who I'm loving, but she is like standing on the outs, watching everything. Unfortunately, not in things, but she's seeing a lot, which is
good. And at least recognizing that you are not part of the group or groups. But I want her to not allow that to become her fate. I want her to like be like, okay, I need to find some commonalities. And then I think that's what who was it? Anela was saying is that he was finding a commonality with every single person that he was talking to. He's like, oh, I connect with this one with rugby. I connect with this person with such and such. And so there's always going to be a way that you can connect with people. So I wish that she wasn't kind of feeling, okay, this is the game they have to play. I'm the outsider, and really being okay with that instead of finding a way to make a connection with somebody. And I think that it's very possible for her to find someone to make a connection. She just can't wait too long and become the outsider.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. I really, really like her, and I hope she can pivot and figure out a way. Enrique, thank you so much for the super chat. Yay, new Survivor season. Appreciate it. All right, the next thing we're going to do is have a fire challenge.
Wait, didn't you love that Tree Mail was back?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was ever there, but yes, I love a tree mail.
Well, Tree Mail, I just remember back in the day, it was so exciting when they were like, Tree Mail, and they'd all go, or one person would go and they'd come back and they'd read some like random limerick, and they're trying to figure out what the challenge was going to be. Like, I really liked that part of Survivor, so I'm not sure why that's kind of gotten taken out. So I got really excited to see the Tree Mail that was there, and they got to,
Yes, it's a bit of a throwback for US Survivor of having tree mail. But this challenge, I mean, it's traditional fire challenge that we're used to, but they're being sent one representative from each tribe sent off, and the rest of the tribe doesn't even get to watch, which I thought was interesting.
Well, that's something that I've noticed that they've done on Australian Survivor often, is where they have like an ambassador go and do something. Usually they have like a choice to make, or maybe there is a competition, but then like they get some sort of like, oh, you can get a bag of rice, or you can get an advantage. Like there's like some sort of thing where they have to either come back and lie or tell the truth, and no matter what, you're lying. So that is, I've definitely noticed in International Survivor, they do send people away often. So I wasn't surprised by it. It just seemed pretty standard for outside of America.
Well, it's very cool, because when I was at first like, no one gets to watch this, but then I'm like, give me something that we're going to be secretive about. And you do get that sort of here at the end. But so let's say, the tribes have to pick a representative. Now, why did Zamba pick Jason?
Well, I think,
but he knows how to build shelter. So that's it. He can build a little mini fire shelter.
I think because everybody likes him. I think that they think that he's probably quite trustworthy. Like, he doesn't come across to me as a liar. So if they've seen other iterations where they go off and these people have to do something either for the tribe or for themselves, I think that they felt secure that he would do something for the tribe. And so I think that they collectively felt safe with him being the representative, because they trust him more than maybe they trust another person.
So more of a trust. You're going to work for the tribe, and you're going to come back and tell us, what truth we might need to know. Okay, that is interesting to look at it from that point. And then Vuna picks Chappie, but that makes more sense because he's already been trying to make fire. It seems important to him. That one made more sense to me.
Yeah, I knew Chappie was going to be going over there. He definitely comes across to me as someone that wants to be the hero of the tribe. He wants to be, even though he hasn't said it, but I think he wants to be the leader. He wants to be the winner.
Wants to be the star of the season. Exactly. Yes, so, absolutely. The two of them come to Nico. What's up? Let's do a fire challenge. And we just traditional burn the rope, all of that. But Chappie's does come with a little story that they've already got fire at their camp, spent a nice warm night together. I was like, wait, what?
He almost got me. I was like, wait, did they get fired? Yeah, they're trying. I'm like, I had to think about it for a second. And then I saw a little smirk, and I was like, oh,
yes.
Of course, Chappie's lying about getting fired to like kind of shake off the other guy's confidence. So
yeah, and it might have worked. I don't know, because Chappie's fire making skills, they got right to it. He got his fire going pretty quickly. Although Jason wasn't too far behind eventually, but Chappie
I was really rooting for Jason. Like I was like, Jason, do it, please, please. I guess I want Chad to get some humble pie or something. I'm like, please, Jason. I was hoping for it.
Were you?
Yeah, were you not?
I don't think I was rooting for anyone at this point. I was just like, who are these people? What's happening? Who are these people making up things? So Chappie's, he wins. He gets the fire making kit. And then we find out that both of them get something called diplomatic immunity. It's a little bracelet that they will wear. And anytime before the merge, if their tribe loses the immunity challenge, therefore they'd be going to tribal and be up for getting out, they could just switch tribes. Now, this is new to me. Is this an international thing?
I've not seen that, but I think I've seen... What is it called? What is it called when you actually go to another, like, mutiny? I've seen mutiny on things before. I don't know if I've seen it on Survivor. I've seen it on, like, the challenge. They've done, like, a mutiny type thing. And maybe other, like, Survivors have done mutinies.
It did one early Survivor. There was a mutiny, yeah.
So similar but different. I haven't seen this that I can recall. It's interesting. Well, I don't know if it's like, good to use.
No. Oh my gosh.
It's like you'd be on the bottom of the other side. Unless you know that you're going to be voted out, like, and it's right before the merge. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if you'd ever use it.
Yeah, no, you'd have to be in a really, really bad place. Like, this is another thing learned about me, Chantele, is that I have a really bad memory. But like Karishma, like she was in such a bad place. Like maybe she could have used this kind of thing, but like you have to be in a bad place to just jump tribes.
You don't know with these people. You barely even know their name. And so to me, if like someone came over to my tribe, like unless like there was a divide in the tribe and like we could use a number and like we'd be like, yeah, perfect, come on in, we need you. But other than that, I would just be like, oh, well, like you must not be liked on the other tribe. Like, okay, you're probably going to be gone. Like, I don't know. I just don't know if it would be ever really a good idea for somebody to move over unless they were going to be voted out the next episode for sure.
Right.
Chaos Cass. She would have used it.
Yeah. I mean, if you know you're going home that night, I mean, I guess risk it. But you have until merge. Like you have a few more weeks here, you know.
Wait, so how does it work though? So like when do you say that you want to use it? Like before the vote?
I think you would use it right after. I think you would have to use it at the challenge. It sounds like. So like your tribe just lost the immunity challenge. The other tribe is safe and you guys are going to tribal, then I think I'd have to go.
That's not so bad, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, being like, I don't want to go back to tribal. I don't want to go to tribal tonight. I'm mutiny here, like, and pop over. Maybe it's not so bad.
I mean, it would give you one more tribal, you know you're going home that night. It gives you one more tribal to just like scramble and try to make new relationships. Sell people
and maybe
down the
be
river.
on the winning. You might be on the winning tribe now, though. You might be win a few times and maybe make some new relationships.
Get in. I mean, I guess it could be worth it if the situation is dire enough. But anyway, they both have it. We do not see either one of them reveal this when they get back.
I was surprised that Jason didn't reveal that. I don't know if they just didn't show it. But Chappie definitely didn't reveal it. And they were also even kind of questioning him, being like, so did you get anything else? And I don't know if he was just playing dumb or not, but he's like, oh, no, we didn't get anything else. He was pretty close with me in the fire. And he's like, no, that's not what I mean. And then everybody else was kind of doubting Chappie's story, even though he told mostly the truth.
Yeah, no, but yeah, they were questioning and we didn't see any reveal. So I think that they were purposely keeping that a secret, which I think I kind of would. Although you could reveal this. It's not that
I
bad.
think it's something to reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't really help you to.
Well, because if you reveal to the group, it gains trust. And also, it allows for everybody to be playing with the same kind of strategy. Like, you're like, oh, we know that he has that. So that would even, I would think, even protect him, be like, oh, we can't bother trying to go for him because like he has like the immunity thing or the, he can diplomat bracelet, so he could just pop over. So let me just not even bother trying to go for him. You know what I mean? It could be a way to have a little bit of immunity within the tribe. So
a little
I don't know, I think I would share it. Yeah.
Yes, Joseph. Chappie's got so excited about his win here that he goes skinny dipping into the water. We get to see his little peach.
Well,
little tush.
Maybe at least it's getting some sun now. It was quite white before. Got a little bit of sun. Where the sun don't shine, shines now.
So he's so excited that he's naked, and then Jason is like, ugh. But we see Jason aligning with Sean. For some reason, he now thinks that Sean is the bee's knees and he can't live without him.
I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened here. I mean, it seemed like it was pretty clear that Sean and Keon were on the outside of this tribe. They had their strong 7. Yes, I understand keeping the tribe strong, especially in the beginning. So most of the time, the men are going to be stronger than the women. So I can understand for sure keeping Sean within the group if they want to try to win again. But I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why he felt so enamored with Sean at this point when he has, 5 other people that are like ready to ride with him. 6 people. Yeah.
I don't either. I just placed this in the bucket of like Jason's game wasn't great. If you're making those kind of choices and then later you're gonna like ride or die with them, that wasn't great. That was rough to see. Doesn't make sense. But let's go.
They're Blade Brothers. They had a name. I forgot.
Oh yeah,
Blade Brothers. You're like, oh, okay. Oh, don't hang out with the enemy ever. It's not good.
No, only use them in some way, but like don't sync with them. Yeah. So our immunity challenge here, we're going to run out into the water. We're going to untie some knots on a buoy one at a time. And then we're going to build a ladder. We're going to end with a puzzle. Classic Survivor challenge here. All the elements. And right away, we kind of see Jason struggling. He's not doing great in the water.
I really like Jason, and I mean, I was just like, "Come on, you can do it, Jason." I think I just wanted him to be better, and so I was like putting him like, "Oh, is he going to be like a mix of like Aussie and a mix of like?" I know I was just like making him to like this super Survivor player that like I thought I really was hoping that was who he was going to be, and so then when he was like, even the host Nico was like, get on the mat! Like, he was not impressed with him. He was just like, move it! Like, I was like, oh
I was like, Nico! Oh my gosh. Now I know Nico a little better because he's like, Jason, come on. Jason's struggling. And then he's like, get on the mat, Jason.
And Jason's just like, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Dragging his body through the sand. I agree. Like there's something about Jason that gives you Aussie vibes. And then you're like, oh crap. First challenge? Nope. Nothing like Aussie. Not happening. This guy is not maybe an asset to the team. Not 100% sure, but it's not good showing here first off.
No, and like they start off in the lead and then it made them sort of go, get behind at that point.
Yeah.
They did end up catching up.
They do.
But
they do. Vuna is able to move to the ladder first, but then Zamba does get to the puzzle first there at the end. But yeah, ultimately, Vuna wins overall here. But while both tribes are up here at this puzzle, Dino, Mr. I'm going to grab the immunity necklace in the very, very beginning. And now I'm going to do something absolutely insane, like talk to the other tribe. Dino.
I would really help us out. Help us
doing,
out. Like,
buddy?
What? Help me, Paul. What are you doing? Like, I didn't understand why he was doing it. I was like, Dino, like, especially if you think you're going to lose right now, Dino, you definitely do not want to be caught whispering to the other tribe at all. Just for further down the road, like, yes, you're safe now, but like people will just be like, okay, as soon as he doesn't have immunity, like he's out. You know, it's just going to be like an easy like out of here.
Seriously, Dino, okay. There's something about Dino that I really like. He gives me Rick Devens vibes, and I loved Rick Devens. So I want better for him, but oh boy, he gotta like pick it up. He's playing so hard. I mean, ultimately his goal was to get sent to this immunity island. Like that's his whole attempt here. But I'm like,
I didn't even think about that.
That's his big goal, right? I want to get to immunity island and try to get some advantage. But like, slow your roll. It's not necessarily Sari. You've got the necklace for tonight. Like, just take a beat. And I don't think he can. I think he's got like nervous energy or something about him that is like, I got to try at all times. And you're mouthing help me to someone you don't really know.
It's like that could come back to bite you. Like if you get to the murder, like it is just never
so many
really
ways.
Good.
Right. And then worst case scenario, he gets literally caught by a tribe mate. Oh my gosh, Dino. Oh my God. I was
so
like,
bad. So bad. So bad. I mean, I guess I give A for effort. I don't know, but I wish that he maybe thought that through a little bit. These people are not their friends yet, you know, like it's the other tribe. They're the enemy. Like you're not talking with them. Like why would they want to send you to the other? Like, I don't know. What are you giving that guy? Like it just didn't, it wasn't really well thought out. And it just seemed very, very self-interested, which I think is a very, very bad trait for people to be recognized in someone that they're playing a game with, because if they're always going to be self-interested, they're never going to be fully truthful, fully someone that you could rely on, like fully any of those things. So I think that he is coming off as desperate and playing too hard and playing for himself, and hopefully he could come around from this. I just don't see it from the way that he's playing so hard right now, that I don't think he's going to be able to change the way he plays. I don't think so.
No, this is really unfortunate. 2 big no-nos this very first, 3 days that you've met these people. Yeah, again, I think like it's like you said, not thought through, not well thought out at all. But like in the moment, I was like, you don't even know if Paul has any pull whatsoever on his tribe. If you're like, help me to a guy who's like, dude,
like, who are you? What's your name?
You help me. Like, I don't, what?
Some guy wanted me to help him. I don't know.
Yeah.
What his name is.
Oh my gosh. But you're right. It was entertaining. I appreciate that part of it. But Dino, don't you want to win? So as Vuno has won immunity here, they get to choose the person on Zamba to go to Immunity Island. And I appreciated that we got to hear their thought process. I love it. Anytime to hear strategy.
I was so happy that I don't know whose voice it was. It might have been Anesu that said it. Was like, let's send somebody that they're most likely going to be voting off. So maybe who they perceive to be weak or maybe on the outs. And they nailed who is exactly that person. Yeah. And sorry, that was Thuriso that they decided. And I was so happy for her, because like this is kind of like a break that she needs to give her some time to maybe start making some friends.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, also because I'm a little drawn to her as well. So I was like, yes, save her, save her. And that was how she felt about it as well. And I love anyone who can like see the optimistic side to something. She's like, yep, you saved me. I owe you guys. I probably was going home in this tribal, and let me see if I can get anything from this experience. And I love that perspective and energy.
No, it was super great. And I do see, like, that's kind of what I would want to get out of the schoolyard pick type thing, is like hearing maybe some strategy, like with who they're going to be choosing. So I love that part. I love that. I don't know if they just didn't air it, but like they didn't say anything about Dino at all. So that was really funny. It didn't pay off at all.
No, the only time we see Dino is when he's back at Tribe and he's like, so guys, okay, I got caught. And they're like, oh my God. I mean, he's like, once again, I have to apologize to you guys. And they're like, we didn't know. We didn't know. No big deal. Whatever. We didn't know.
I mean, it could be that he's so like Mr. Bean, like just always like just all these errors that he might be endearing, and people might not feel as though he's like, they might feel that he is harmless. And so I'm hoping that with him, like, oh guys, I'm silly, like they might not think of him as being super threatening. So maybe him coming off as a little bit of like a bumbling idiot kind of Survivor player, maybe that will save him for a little bit.
Yeah, for a minute, until you start adding all this up and you're like, wait a minute, what's this guy up to? But before we get to that tribe and all of the scrambling that they have to do before tribal, on Immunity Island, we see Threeso. She is like, okay, I'm here to play. I felt like this was a little complicated and confusing.
I didn't get it.
But ultimately, it's like play the game, get the reward or the consequence. That's basically it.
But then it looked as though there was a shelter for her to stay overnight. But then she had an immunity necklace on that she could still give to somebody else if she wanted to. And she lost her vote for that tribal and the next tribal.
Very complicated. Why? What was all the layers about? Yeah. So
is that correct?
Did she have, well, yes, and I don't know. Did she have the option to stay overnight? Because she was like, yeah, we got fire making, we got food. It looked like she could chill there overnight. She said, I have the necklace. I don't even have to play. I could just go to tribal. But I was like, why would you do that? And then she does decide to play, but then she still goes to tribal. So was there no option to stay overnight?
I was just very confused as you were. What I was expecting was that it's kind of like the I can't remember what they named it, but the idol that the advantage that Jeremy got, where it's like you got to leave tribal, but so you'd be safe, but you couldn't be at tribal council. So that's kind of what I was assuming, her being sent to the immunity. What's it called?
Immunity Island.
Immunity Island. I thought that she was going to be away from the tribe, away from tribal council, and we'll get an opportunity to play some shell game. So that's kind of what I thought was going to be happening. And then it wasn't that at all. So I still haven't fully figured out what it actually was. And did they not give her any time to do the actual challenge? Because it seemed like the hourglass was already empty when she flipped it over.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it said it was 2 minutes, and I believe that, but boy, that was like, she dug like 4 times, and she was like, oh, 2 minutes are up. I was like, what? I mean, I'm really rooting for her. I really wanted her to get it, and she starts to dig, and no.
And the digging too, like, I'm sure she was trying very hard, but she wasn't really doing a good job digging. It was just, I felt like she was like 6 grains of sand at a time, that she's just kind of like, pushing it over. I was like,
stresses me out. They do it so much on Survivor, and digging just seems so hard. It's so much effort and work, and digging stresses me out. I don't.
And in 2 minutes, and it's such a big area, and not really knowing where is it going to be in the middle, or is it the side? Like, it just didn't seem like it was possible for her to be able to get that, no matter what, or anybody for that matter.
No, because it's going to be deep. They're not going to just dig it or like bury it close to the surface. You're going to have to go deep. Like I thought it was obviously impossible. She doesn't come close to finding anything, it doesn't seem like. And so she loses her vote. And then come to find out, I thought it was for another tribal, but it was for this tribal, because she shows up later and is immune, but
I think that's fine then. Like, to lose your vote when you have the necklace on, who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. And you weren't there for any of the conversations, so who cares?
Yeah, which she does end up saying. So it's kind of like, I didn't really understand that. So I thought it was for both.
Yeah.
Is that off the table for sure? Do we know that it's not for the next one as well?
We do not know that.
Okay.
I think it's only one vote, but I don't know that for sure. So
I still don't understand why she was at tribal and why she had the necklace on. I thought she had to leave tribal and not be
agreed. Yeah.
participating.
Okay, great. So we're both very confused about Immunity Island, guys. If you guys learn more, let us know. We'll try to learn more and let you know. But that's where we are right now with that. Let's get to the tribe because they do a scrambly, scurry first tribal like none other. These people.
Oh, this was epic. It was epic. I was just like, my mouth was hanging open. I couldn't believe how poorly people played that whole round. I thought it was just like, okay, Count's gone. You know what I mean? I thought it was just going to be that cut and dry, and it wasn't at all. Yes, you do have to fling the dirt behind you, not like tossing it up. You're right, Teresa.
Don't pile more dirt where you're digging.
Like,
yes.
Oh.
Digging 101. Good point. Yeah. So it is interesting to see this little trio of ladies, Amy, Nicole, and Marisha, are like, I hate to use the word popular girls, but like they obviously have some weight. They are a clear trio, and the other people around either want to work with them or get them out, as we see. Like they are, they seem to have some weight with them, and they're discussing the whole Sean and Keon thing, and they want to put their votes on Keon. They think she should go. That makes sense to them. And then we see Jason go out on a ledge, basically, to protect his best friend, Sean. What? Jason?
But no, before that happened, though, didn't he decide to say Amy was who he wanted to go against Amy and break up that trio? And I was like, whoa, the whole reason why you're in alliance with them is because they come as a trio. And that means that you can control like a dominant grouping of people here. And you know where they're going to be voting. Like that's very powerful to be on the side of almost the majority of, almost the majority of a tribe. 3 is quite a lot of weight. And so the fact that he day 1 or day 2 is deciding to go after someone that they just kind of solidified that they're in alliance with, I was like, Jason, this is not the move. Not the move at all.
It's not the move. Jason, he was a part of the group of Sean and Keon are untrustworthy. And, Tribal 1, you got to roll with that stuff. Why work so hard to go against that? I mean, I agree. If you see a clear trio, yes, put them on your list. You're going to want to break them up.
Back here. Yes.
Yeah. Keep them right back here. But maybe wait till you have better relationships and build a group to do that work.
Well, it's kind of like he doesn't even know any of them that well to know if maybe who he's talking to or is best friends with these people or really loves them or they had a bonding moment. He doesn't really know how any of these relationships have really developed. They're so fresh that you kind of just want to stick with the numbers and keep your mouth shut. You don't really want to dictate things. You don't really want to be steering anything in a particular direction in the very beginning because people are like, oh, well, he has that much power. Let's get him out. Or, they're just going to find a reason to turn on you, which they did because they're like, why are you already turning on one of your own? We haven't even gone to a vote yet and you're already trying to break us up? That's too shady. So Teresa, you're right. He was shadier than I was giving him credit for, but I just was hoping for so much more.
I don't know if it was necessarily shady. I think he just wasn't thinking it out. I just think he wasn't playing smart and he thought that he had some power to flip it. And he thought that Sean was worth saving. And that's just what's really confusing is because I can get on board if you're like, Sean's in a bad place. I'm going to utilize him as some sort of shield. If you were building something to keep Sean in your pocket when no one else was going to want to work with Sean. Okay, I'll get on board with that. But that's not what seemed to be happening here. Jason was just like, I want to work with Sean. I'm going to save Sean.
Well, and I guess also what ended up happening too is like, and I think that a lot of people got really excited, like, I'm playing in Survivor,
Mm,
and it's like, ooh, I'm making moves. Like, yes, let's flip this vote. I think he really got excited about the fact that he felt as though things were gonna go the way that he wanted them to. He wanted to keep Sean,
yeah.
he wanted to break up the girl, whatever. Like he was gonna be getting what he wanted. And in the end, he actually voted for Keon to leave. And so he didn't even actually get Amy to break up the thing. So he already put it out there that he wanted to go against this alliance that he's already a part of to keep Sean. And then he ended up in the end voting out the way that they would have wanted to vote anyways. So why did he make all that fuss? Because he would have gotten what he
Why?
wanted.
Yeah. Good question. Why? But it backfires. And I have to give a lot of credit to Renier here. He's the one that sort of is like, I'm not feeling Jason's energy right now. He's the one that we should look at. Because I think otherwise, Keon was going.
Tell me that you died when he was like I can't, hold on, sure, pointing to he's like to the other guy. I was laughing so hard.
One of the best moments of Survivor all time. Like, have you ever seen that before? I've never seen a blatant
he did it like 5 times. It was so awkward.
I was like, yeah, I'm sure he has seen you point by now. Stop it. Stop it. Like, what? Who's bold enough to do that? Literally, like, just circle back later. You don't have to point. You just circle back and be like, everything Jason said, no, we're voting Jason out. You're like, whoa.
No,
but I loved it.
Was an amazing moment, and I was laughing, I was shocked, and I thought it was so bold, and it was quite epic. I was like, Renier, this is a really bad move as well, to be like, to get everybody on board with voting on Jason. Like, it just was so, it was a lot. And it just shows that he has a lot of pull, that he's really thinking a lot about the game. And so if he wanted to maybe take a step back from having that whole snafu with the tribe advantage, I would probably not want to seem like you're strategizing that much. So I just thought that he should have maybe held back a little bit, because I don't think it was that advantageous for him to get out Jason right now. I think he was just making a big move. I don't know if it was that great for him right now.
That's interesting perspective. I definitely see that. I feel like it could have been, and we didn't see, so it's hard to say, but it could have been an endearing moment. All he had to do was go up to Amy and say, Jason's saying your name. We got to protect you. Let's get out Jason. And then if I'm Amy, I'm like, you're my best friend. Thank you so much for bringing me this information. We're tighter than ever. So that's how I was looking at it. And I thought, oh, great. Get someone out that you don't want and endear the other people to you, like as if you're protecting them. But we honestly, we don't see how exactly it goes down. So it's hard to say if he was pushy or not, or how he did it.
He did. I do believe there was a scene where he did tell the trio that Jason was saying their name. It just kind of seemed as though he didn't really pad his landing after this whole shakedown of the council. I just don't know if he set himself up in a better place by this outcome. So yeah. I don't know if it was the best time for them to do that, especially since we see that Keon would have been voted out. And so I don't know. I'm not sure if it was great for him, but we'll soon find out.
Why rock the boat? Why not just vote out Keon? Yeah. Jason thinks he's compromising to vote out Keon to keep Sean. So that's where he ultimately lands. But again, he's not communicating with Sean. This whole thing is just weird for Jason, and he's already gotten himself in trouble. We see a moment with Sean and Keon where she's crying.
Were they sleeping beside each other in the shelter? Like what happened here? They're like all of a sudden like some star-crossed lovers that like, you know, she's like, I don't want to leave yet. I'm like, I'm gonna help you stay. Like, and sorry, this was another thing that was confusing to me. Did he find it? Like, what was the bulge in the pocket that people were referencing that he found something? I never saw a bulge, but the girls saw a bulge. But at tribal council, there was no bulge.
Yeah, I think that was just part of Amy's story because Amy was the one who was like, Sean and Keon are being shady over there and they're looking for something. And I think she just in her head saw a bulge. She saw a bulge. So she tells them there's a bulge. So you know, if you think someone's looking and then you think there's something in their pocket, you just go, they probably have something. But we don't see a bulge because no, they didn't find anything. He doesn't have anything.
I was like, did I miss the bulge? Like, did I miss the find? I don't know.
It was just like, part of their paranoia.
But then didn't he say something to Keon about, I'll play my idol? I feel like he said something like that confused me in that crying moment. And I was like, what? He has an idol?
I think he said, I wish I had one and I would play it if I could. I think he was saying... Sean is so dramatic. Like he was dramatic and he was like, Keon, I wish I could do something to save us, but I can't play an idol. So what I will do is I will make a show of tribal. And like, I think that's what he was doing. And she was crying. And I did read in like her bio, like some pre-interview stuff is that she said, expect some tears. And I hope that people don't mind a little vulnerability was the way she phrased it. So maybe she's just a crier. Here we are. We've already got them. We already got the tears. And you know what? Sean holds up his end of the bargain because as soon as tribal starts, he's like, let me perform for you guys. Here it is.
I mean, I'll take a good tribal council performance. You know, I do enjoy that they're aware that Nico is going to be questioning them and kind of asking them leading things that might change people's perspective. I do come from the belief that people's minds are made up before they go to tribal council. But I do appreciate that they recognize that they might be rattled a little bit by the conversations that are going to be had.
Right. Yeah, it's possible. And I mean, who doesn't love a performance at tribal? Always fun. But Sean just like goes off. He makes a scene. And I don't know if ultimately this helps his game in the long run. We also get the Riso back, which we've already talked about. Like, what? She walks in? What? Okay. And then she says, I don't have a vote. And they're all like, okay, nobody cares.
We didn't think you're going to be here anyways. So,
but she's safe. All right, great.
And Dino's safe. Okay.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so I think it was Anela who like points out, well, you and Keon were looking for an idol. That's why your name even came up. And that seemed like that was a new information to Sean. He was like, wait, what? And same thing with Keon. She was like, huh? We did what? We weren't.
They were though. So like, I mean, they need to play it. They should have been like, that's not what our intention was. I know it would have come across as that, like, you know, yes, if we found something, we would share it with you. I don't know, say something to at least knowledge what the people are. Don't gaslight the people that saw you looking for things and you were looking for an idol. Like you were looking for something. Just own up to it, at least right now, because it doesn't put you in better standing with the tribe if they think you're continuing to lie to them.
They're like, no, we wanted to lay out each grain of rice individually. That's polite and hospitable, right?
Yes, I wanted to just count how many bananas we had.
Yes, that's all, you guys. Chappies, hello. Welcome.
Wow, that's so fun.
Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, even though Sean's performance is big, no votes are changing here. And, you know, to be fair, Sean doesn't even know that the vote is on Jason because Sean and Jason are the two only votes for Keon. Everybody else.
Jason.
Bye-bye, Jason.
I was like, I wrote down, I'm like, did it switch back to Keon? Because like usually usually it's a misdirect. Usually the first vote that they read out is not the person going home. But then I was like, right. But are they doing things differently? And like, so I was like going against my own like knowledge of like how they usually read the votes. And then I went to Jason. And then as soon as I went to Jason once, I was like, oh, I think actually Jason's going to be done here.
Yeah.
They would have gone to anybody else but Jason if Jason was the one going home, I would think.
Right. I mean, if anyone's going to write down Jason's name, that means that's the vote flip. That's what happened. So yeah, 2 votes for Keon, the rest for Jason. And then Sean's reaction. Wait, what? Sean's like in the throes of being excited that he didn't get 1 vote. He's like, what? Yes. And then he's like, oh man, dude, we should have talked this out, as Jason's like blindsided and walking out and getting his torch snuffed. He's like, what?
Well, that's true, though. I would have to say that is really true. And nobody was really talking to Sean. No one was really talking to Keon. And so Jason, maybe he was like running around scrambling, trying to figure out make this vote flip happen or whatnot. But they should have still been kind of talking about a secondary, something, especially if Jason was going to basically ruin his game to save Sean. They should have been talking about something for it to work. So I definitely thought it wasn't a well planned out flip of Jason.
No.
And he really should have, I don't know, done something better. I'm sorry, Jason, I wanted you to do better.
Yeah, we all wanted you to do better. And I want Sean to do better. Like, I don't feel like this was a good way to do your first tribal for Sean. I think Sean and Keon go back to camp still on the bottom, right? Like, none of this went well for them.
Well, what can he do? I guess I don't know how he can fix it, because he's still going to be, it's going to be him and Keon still. They're basically going to have to win in order just to get some more time with the people. And
I mean, I guess that you just got to double down on the, we weren't being shady. We weren't looking. No, not at all. And start to build individual relationships.
So my question is, though, who told Keon that the vote was Jason? That's what I want to know. She did vote Jason. I was like, how did she get that information?
Look at that.
How does she know?
That's a good question.
And maybe Sean wasn't told because he was close to Jason. So maybe Keon has been doing some work.
Oh, thank you for that question. Because then why, if she's looped into the vote, why didn't she tell her best friend Sean, who she just cried with?
Maybe that's why she was crying, because she thought that maybe she thought Sean was going to be the vote, or maybe I don't know. I'm not sure actually, but
that's really interesting. She was so emotionally tied to him. When she thought he was going, she finds out it's somebody else, and she doesn't circle back and give Sean a heads up that it's Jason. Sean would have gladly voted Jason out.
Maybe she's just trying to make Sean look more like the target. So if they have to choose between Sean and Keon, they're going to choose Sean.
Yeah, and now is she mad that he wrote her name down? Are they even friends anymore? Oh, dear.
I hope they resolve this and we get to see what happens.
Oh, you still want them to be best buddies?
Well, no, I mean, it just we hear about it. They show us on the show what went down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we need to know what's going down for sure. Well, that's our episode 1. I love this cast. Even the ones that we're being like, why'd you do that, are so entertaining. I don't know.
I love it. Love.
I love I would much rather you make big, bold moves that ruin your game than, do you just sit back and do nothing, right?
Well, exactly. We're watching a TV show. So if Big Brother Canada just happened. And personally for me, I love strategy, but it was such an entertaining season that strategy, the lack of it was forgiving because I really enjoyed watching it. And so just even with this, it's just I'm what kind of blunder are these people going to do? I'm just kind of almost excited to see how poorly they might play in their circumstances. And they're all just great personalities.
This is a good question. Do you have any favorites that you want to tell us you're rooting for?
I definitely, the doctor, what's her name? I think she has a little bit of an uphill battle. Nesu.
Yeah.
I like that she seems to be in a good position. I'm hoping that she will be able to maneuver it better, like well. I don't want her to see you get bit by being in too many alliances. I want to see her flourish. So I wouldn't mind seeing her do well. She just seemed like a nice personality, a nice person. I want to see her succeed.
Yeah.
And Dino, those are my two right now. Dino is just funny.
I agree. I am
Chappie,
loving,
of course, Chappie. I need to see how Chappie's story goes down.
Our Fire King, Fire King Chappies, of course. I'm really drawn to Threeso. I'm drawn to Dino. And we didn't see much about, is it Santoni or Santori? Santoni. We didn't see much about her in this, but I enjoyed her pre-interview stuff, and so I have an eye open for her as well.
It's tie-dye, right?
Yeah, tie-dye, redhead. Yeah, so I want to see more about her because she seems like an interesting person. I'm very excited about this cast, and I can't wait to get to know the other tribe more, because that's the downside of this first episode. You really only get to know the ones that go to tribal, so we need to get to know everybody. And I'm also just excited to have my first South Africa season.
It's definitely a great start. I'm already in it. By next episode, I'm sure we'll know everybody's names, and so we'll even be further invested in these people's journeys and arcs. These are the people that stood out in this episode that we're kind of rooting for, and so I'm hoping that maybe some other people might merge as new characters that we didn't really get a chance to get to know. So I'm enjoying the casting so far. It's definitely different in the style of people that they bring onto the show, which I'm really enjoying. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting personality. That's an interesting character. That's a little bit different. So I love the take on casting as well. I think it really lends well to Survivor.
Yeah, agreed. So you guys, Chantele and I will be here every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern to talk about each episode weekly. And like I mentioned before, if you're having a hard time finding the episodes, please reach out to me via Patreon for Nerdtainment, and go subscribe to Reality Realness
with 3 S's.
And Nerdtainment, obviously, if you have not subscribed there. Find us on Twitter and Instagram. The links are down in the description. And then otherwise, meet us right back here this Saturday. Also, you guys, this week, I believe it's going to be Wednesday, David is going to join me for just a fun game, just a fun little game video pre-Big Brother, before we get busy and crazy with Big Brother. Obviously.
Are you guys doing The Bachelor this year? Or The Bachelorette?
I don't think we're going to be able to squeeze The Bachelorette in because Big Brother takes over my life. But yes, Bachelorette, you guys, you're covering it, right?
Yes, I will be covering it. Yes. Usually on Tuesday afternoons or Tuesday sometime, the day after the episode airs, I will be going live to talk about all the shenanigans that happen in Bachelor Nation. So yes, we do cover
we'll send all of our Bachelorette friends. Katie was my favorite this last season, so I will be watching, and we'll have opinions, and we'll watch you for the recaps.
Woo! Yay!
So fun. Well, thank you again, Chantele, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live in the chat. Thanks, Chappies, for stopping by. Appreciate it.
I'm so honored.
And you guys, anyone joining us later, leave us a comment. Please let us know how you feel about this cast, the season. We want all of your opinions, please. Yay. And we'll see you next time. Bye.